You're listening to Iheart Communities, our weekly public affairs show. I am Manny Munoz. If you have any thoughts, comments, or questions, please feel free to reach out to me on Instagram. My handle is at IODManny. That's at IODMANNY. Stroke and brain aneurysm can happen fast, and for many families, they come completely out of nowhere. But thanks to quick action and a remarkable recovery, my colleague here at Iheart Radio Miami, Jada Williams, is now using her story to try and help others. The warning signs before it's too late. Jada, thanks so much for making some time with us.
So, of course. Thank you so much for having me.
So let me start off with this. You're young, early 40s. Take me back to when you first started experiencing symptoms, and what did you feel?
Back last year, and from April to July, every day I had a headache. So I would come into the studio, go to work, do my thing, but by the end of the night, I would read off songs to DJ Bulletproof or take callers, and I couldn't read my own handwriting because my right eye would start to close by the end of the night. My vision would be blurry. Have difficulties driving home, things like that. And just every day having pounding headaches every day, and then my right eye not having really control over it during that time. And my daughter was just on me every day, like, Mom, this could be something really serious. This could be something really serious. And I just kept brushing it off for a little while. I have bottles of aspirin just everywhere during that time. And I was going to urgent care, but urgent care, I have a history of migraine. So it was coming off like it was a migraine, but I just knew it was something different. And just speaking with my daughter and everything, she looked it up, did her own research, Googled some things, used ChatGPT, and she was like, Mom, there's too much pressure on your optical vascular nerve and some other big medical word. And I'm like, okay. How do you know this? She's like, you have to do these additional tests. And she writes out this long text message. And she's like, the next time you go to the ER, you show this to the doctor. And I'm like, I've never went to the ER. I've only been going to the urgent care. Let me just go to the ER. So one Friday morning, I'm like, before I get to go to work and talk on the radio, I'm going to go to the ER and get the best headache medicine that's going to let me make it through my day. That day I was determined to make it through the night completely. And when I got there to Memorial Pembroke, and I showed Dr. L my daughter's text message, and she gasped and was like, oh my gosh, she's so smart. Let's do this additional test. And she did a CTA scan with the dye that made a big difference because she could see the aneurysm. And they come back and tell me it's a brain aneurysm. You're going to have emergency brain surgery tomorrow. It's the largest we've ever seen. And I'm like, girl, I drink water. I'm Jay Kiss. That's my whole platform is health. Like, I work out. I walk every day, girl. What are you talking about? And isn't that what old people die from or something? Don't old people get that? Then my grandfather had that. Like, what are you talking about? I was in such denial right then. And I'm like, okay, let me get up. And they're like, where are you going? I was like, I'm going to get some water. I called Bulletproof. She's like, who Dr. L was adamant. She was really great. She sat with me during that, time of digesting what was going on with my body. And I called DJ Bulletproof and was like, yo, Bullet, I'm going to be late to the studio today, maybe, but I'm not going to be in the mood for cameras or anything. So we can do social media tomorrow or something. Can we just have a good show tonight? So we can have a good show tonight.
You were still in denial. How long were you having these headaches, though?
From April to July, every day.
And then July is when you finally convinced by your daughter to go to the emergency room. You were your own advocate, showing them the information she has gotten, and that led to the discovery of the aneurysm.
Yes, that led to the discovery of the aneurysm. I was then taken straight to Memorial Johnson Street with Dr. Maida and his awesome neurological neuroscience team. They were awesome.
Is there a difference? I'm sorry to interrupt. Is there a difference between an aneurysm and a stroke?
Yes. Well, the aneurysm is usually what causes the stroke.
Okay.
So if it bursts, then you'll usually cause you a stroke, or you might die from it bursting. And with mine being the largest, quote unquote, that they've ever seen, they were very concerned about it, because mine was larger than a quarter sitting on my brain. It's like a ticking time bomb, and it just keeps blowing up like a balloon with blood until it pops. So in my case, they were worried about preventing the stroke by making sure the aneurysm didn't burst, because mine were so big I could have died from it.
A few more minutes here with my Iheart Radio Miami colleague, Jada Williams, also known as Jada Kiss. It was the aneurysm was what was putting the pressure on your optic nerve, affecting your vision in your eye. Is that the one thing that was different from just a random headache, or the other headaches that you used to get?
Definitely so. No, that was one thing, because where the aneurysm sat at, it was sitting on the optical nerve.
Mm-hmm.
So that was causing pressure on my eye to keep closing. But I was having these headaches that you cannot explain.
Mm-hmm.
They are excruciating. It's like an ice pick. It's like I actually, for the first time in my life, like literally felt my brain. I felt like I could feel my brain throbbing. Any other time, it's like a headache, your
Right.
head may ache,
Right.
but you don't feel brain. I actually was like, I think I feel my brain. I know it sounds crazy, but I could just feel it, and it's throbbing, and it's like hurting ice picks. But other than that, which was a biggie, by the end of the day, my right eye would be closing and I couldn't see.
Okay, you mentioned you were in denial when they first told you you've got an aneurysm. We've got to do an emergency brain surgery on you. What was that like? I imagine you called your daughter. You said, "Baby, you just saved my life. I'm going to have this surgery." Walk me through that process of the surgery.
Well, that part of it, when after Dr. L was like, "No, I'm sitting here. I'm not leaving you. You got to call that person back and tell him you are not coming to work.
Right.
You are not going to no studio, girl. You are going to have emergency brain surgery tomorrow morning." And I was like, "Who, me?" And she's like, "Yes." And I'm like, "Oh, okay." So then I called my mother next, who lives in Louisville, Kentucky right now. And she works in the courthouse. It was about lunchtime, 1:00. I called her at 1. My mom was in Miami at 8:00 that night. I was transported over to Memorial Johnson Street, Dr. Maida's awesome team, and they prepped me, and I had emergency brain surgery the next morning.
Talk to me about how you felt the first time you woke up after that brain surgery, and I'm guessing you no longer had the headaches you were having?
No, I instantly didn't have the headaches anymore. It was more so just waking up and just feeling different, and I could see. That was the biggest thing.
Mm-hmm.
I was happy about. The whole room was laughing at me, because I'm like, I can see.
Right.
So that was the biggest thing. And after that, it's the more so recovery, coming off of the anesthesia and everything, and you can feel your body just feel like a bus hit it.
Yeah. What was the most difficult part of the recovery process once you were done with the surgery and you could see again? How long were you in the hospital, and then how long did it take you to get like you were feeling back to normal?
Time afterwards, I would have to go on a 10-day bed rest after each procedure. They would want me to stay in bed 10 days, because they were going through my groin to get to my brain.
Mm-hmm.
These days with technology and everything is so awesome. But I couldn't at first, I'm so active with walking and being hands-on with my kids. Like, my family had to rotate coming in town to take care of me, to sit with me, because I couldn't be by myself. I was a high risk for stroke, high risk for seizure, on a lot of medications that I have slowly been coming off of during recovery time. So I really leaned on my siblings and my mom. They were there for me. All of them live out of town. They were coming in town, taking turns for a week to stay with me. Then
Right.
This one would leave, would come in. So it was a long, like, little recovery road physically, to where I could actually start driving. Like, I couldn't drive. And go figure, you have kids in school, you got to take them.
Sure.
So they were driving for me, just really hands-on, helping me, going to each appointment with me and everything, because it's a very emotional time.
Yeah.
And then was so surprised by what was going on in my life. In a situation like this, it changes your lifestyle. It's like my lifestyle is totally opposite. What do you mean rest?
Yeah.
I'm up early, out late night. I'm doing different events. You know, I love being on the microphone. I love advocating and helping people, but it was like this time I needed to advocate and help myself and sit down. If my cup is empty, if I run myself down, who am I going to be able to Jada?
Yeah,
And
you're
it's
not
just
going to be there
oh
for
my
your family.
gosh.
Right. Couple more minutes here. Couple more minutes here with Jada Williams, my Iheart Radio Miami colleague here. What made you decide that you wanted to become public with what had happened to you and what you'd learned because of it?
Well, the first thing was the awesome listeners that tune in to 103.5 The Beat. Our listeners are so on point that they start noticing I wasn't there. And then, you know, the DJ's giving me shout outs to get better.
Mm-hmm.
The listeners started calling around to the different hospitals trying to figure out where I was, where I was and things. And so the nurses start coming in my room asking me questions like, what do you do for a living? And I'm telling them, they start cracking up laughing. And the good thing about it is Dr. Mehta, actually, my surgeon, actually listened to me on air, the Bulletproof Radio. So he was all over it. He knew everything that could name us all off. So
that's awesome.
That's part when I really started like, okay, I got to take this seriously because I want to be able to help someone else too. I may not be the only person in this situation.
Right.
And it was just surprising. Like if this could happen to me, and I'm saying, you know, before I drink water, I walk every day. I'm a little picky, clean eater sometimes, like, and you think you're fine. And my thing is you want to be as healthy inside as you are on the outside. I look healthy on the outside because, you know, I think because you're petite and on the smaller side that, nothing's wrong with you. You're good. But no, you have to be just as healthy on the inside as you are on the outside and taking care of yourself, getting your checkups and everything like that.
And you have to be an advocate for yourself if you know these things. What advice do you have to anybody listening who's like, oh, that's never going to happen to me? I take care of myself. I exercise, the very same things you said you were doing.
Well, you never know what lies dormant in your DNA. And then we all think, oh, you know, our 420 smoke participants, we think because, I'm not smoking a cigarette, I'm smoking this. But all of these things go straight to your brain, which can cause or speed up an aneurysm.
And what else have you learned from this experience emotionally?
Oh, emotionally, I have learned that to stop and let people take care of you, let people love on you, let people give you your roses if they're trying to give you your flowers right now. I have learned to slow down and to be a little more calmer. I'm usually all over the place. I've been to 15 by now. You know, you called me at 12:20. I would have been up at 5, worked out, drank 3 bottles of water by now, just doing stuff.
Well, I'm certainly glad that you're still here and that you're appreciating life once again. Thanks so much for the time and sharing your story, Jada.
Of course. Thank you so much. And everybody go get your physical, your checkups once a year just to make sure your body is working properly the way that it is supposed to. We all have to advocate for ourselves. I really appreciate you.
And if you want to get more information about how to spot brain aneurysms, you could go to stroke.org. That's stroke.org to find out more about brain aneurysms and strokes. I am Manny Munoz. I appreciate you listening to Iheart Radio's Communities this week. As always, if you have any questions, comments, or suggestions, reach out to me on Instagram. My handle is @IODManny. That's @IODMANNY. And that'll do it for another edition of Iheart Radio's Communities. I'm Manny Munoz. Until next time.
Lindstrom Air Conditioning and Plumbing has a cool new financing offer. Buy a new Lindstrom air conditioning